I have a very addictive personality, and unfortunately, one of the addictions that I fall victim to was video games. They were the source of happiness and joy for me at that time. Nothing else matters except for hopping on a ranked game on Valorant and grinding to Radiant. That was my goal at that time. And I hit it. I hit Radiant. And then it got boring. I hop on Call of Duty, Warzone, CSGO. The list goes on and on. My daily routine looked like this. I woke up, I don't even brush my teeth, and I hop on my favorite game at that time. It was an endless cycle. I did this for like the whole circuit. Okay, I live in Singapore, so there was this circuit breaker where everyone had to stay at home during the COVID. It's like if you're living in like America, it's probably like your lockdown. Everyone had to stay at home, so there was so much free time, and I used that free time for video games because there was nothing else I could do, Video games, hop on. And my friends were amazing, man. Honestly, we would hop on at the same time every single day, and we literally know like each other's routine. So it's very simple. Like, oh, John is gonna hop on at 2, and then Jerry is gonna hop on at 3. It's easy, and it's so comfortable to know that okay, this time someone's gonna hop on, you're gonna have more fun. It's an endless cycle of dopamine after dopamine after dopamine, and you only realize that, at least for me, I realized that it was bad after like school reopens, and then I realized that I just feel so addicted. Like I just kept thinking of video games over and over and over again. It was taking over my life. I can't focus in class at all. I'm always thinking of the going home to play. Even during my internship that time, I just can't wait to go home to like finally go on like rank to grind to Radiant. It's sad, it doesn't matter what video game, like video games are made to be addictive. And if you don't do anything about it, you are forever going to stay addicted. And some people might not be addicted, like they play like 1 hour, 2 hours a day, but usually, be honest with yourself, 1 hour doesn't really turn into 1 hour. If your friend like tells you, oh, just one more game, 99% of the time you are going to play one more game, because one more game is only like 30 minutes, is not so bad. 1 hour turns to 3 hours, turns to 5 hours. If you're anything like me in the past, you probably want to listen to this video of how I actually managed to quit video games for good. It was around May 2022 when I found out about self-improvement. So basically, I randomly came across this video from Hamza, and then I watched one of the self-improvement videos, and then it really hit me. I was like, shit, man, this guy, he's like speaking to my face in such an aggressive tone, and then like everything that he said are facts, and that really hit me. I'm like, shit, man, why is everything so true that he's saying? And I realized that it's not normal for me to be like that. It's my duty to take back control of my life, quit for good, like start doing the good habits, choose delayed gratification over instant gratification, and make progress in life in action rather than the rectangle screen. So that's what I did. Of course, I'll be honest, it's not easy. For like the first few months, I just went back on video games. I tried going to the gym, asked my friend like Jonathan whether he could join me, and then he said no. Most of the time, I probably went like 1 or twice with him, and then it's like I always needed him to go with me because I would feel too insecure. I didn't know how to do the workout, but I wanted to go to the gym. I really wanted to make some gains, but I just couldn't bring myself to go alone. So I had to like beg him to literally come with me for a few times. He did for a few like 1 or 2 sessions, and then I was alone the whole time. When I was alone, I stopped. I quit. Genuinely, I quit. I quit until like July, and then I started again. And by that time, it was apparent to me that video games were not the way to go. Like, I would rather level up in real life, actually attract girls. Like that is probably like a primal desire that you have, rather than like leveling up in this game that truthfully nobody gives a fuck. Any game that you play, you level up, and then you're trying to get to the highest, trying to get to a high prestige, high status. Nobody gives a fuck. Went on like a dopamine detox. So this is, Hamza explains it very well, honestly. Basically, things that stimulate your brain a lot, like instant gratification, social media, porn, video games, junk food, drugs, alcohol, all these instant gratification activities are very stimulating and they fry your dopamine receptor. So the moment you do one of these activities, you get a lot of pleasure, and then you just can't see yourself doing something hard and uncomfortable. For example, going to the gym. And it makes perfect sense. Like, I will go to the gym, I'll try to go to the gym, I'll plan to go at like late afternoon. But then I already fried myself with instant gratification that morning. I literally woke up and then the first thing I did was touch my PP. So there was no way that I had enough motivation to go to the gym, you know. Of course, I also had to level up my discipline, my willpower to resist the bad habits. But I feel like all of that is not really necessary, because the moment you turn off your brain, that is when you actually start to go. You have to first acknowledge that video games are harmful to your life. After acknowledging it, then you can make changes. Because if you're coping and saying that video games improve like your hand-eye coordination, and then it helps you socialize because you're talking to your Discord friends, you're not gonna quit. Because that is what you find joy in. And I can totally relate, because if my mom told me to quit that time, my grandma told me to quit as well. Some of my good friends, genuinely like good friends at that time, also told me to quit. I didn't listen because they didn't understand me. I wanted joy from that. I genuinely found happiness in that. It was so pleasurable to like indulge in the virtual world rather than being a loser in real life. So if you're watching this video, I can really understand that it's painful. It's really painful to not be playing. Like, imagine a world without the instant gratification that you're doing, which is video games. But what's more painful than that is probably never ever getting love in your life anymore. No more romantic relationships, a shit job that you don't like in the future. You're basically sacrificing your future self for your current self. That is what you're doing. So basically, your future self would live like a low-end life, still addicted to video games. Like, you probably have seen like some like adults that you know that are still addicted to video games until now. And if you continue on this path, you are not far from that. The second step is to replace the bad habit instead of getting rid of it. So for me, it was the gym. But honestly, you could do something productive as well. Let's say homework. And it's not easy. Going from like such a stimulating thing like Valorant to trying to study 1-2 hours a day, bro, it's fucking hard. Honestly, it's fucking hard. I couldn't imagine myself doing that because I didn't like homework either way. I didn't see the point of homework. But for me, going to the gym had a point, because if I went to the gym, that means I would be more attractive and I could attract girls. So that was like the goal in mind that I had. Yep, just replace the habit. I don't see any other way. If you try to remove it, you are still gonna get like urges and temptations to hop on it, because that's the only thing that brings you joy. You must replace it, change up your time schedule, really like have someone accountable for you as well. I feel like that's a very important part. I wish I had someone accountable for me when I just started, because it will make it like so much more easier to get through that starting point. The starting point is the hardest, to like that transition from stopping video games to going to the gym. For me, is the hardest, because your mind is still like, so your mind tricks you to think that you are losing something valuable, but in fact you just have to go through this transition period, and then you will realize the benefits of going to the gym itself. So it's this weird dilemma where your brain itself is like going against you, and you must fight your own brain. That is like the most important part. Just get through that first part, and then the snowball effect will start to kick in. If you're interested in building the body that women desire, that girls desire, click the first link in the description. I'll be on full transparency. It's a sales call with me to see whether you're a good fit for my coaching. Hope it helps you.